Hola, my name is Vincenzo, and we are truly excited to share with you our final iteration of our design approach of the Baruta case study site. Here is our dynamic team consisting of 2 planning graduate students and 3 landscape architecture graduate students. We are specifically analyzing Baruta, a municipality positioned about 15 kilometers southeast of downtown Caracas in Venezuela. This urban sprawl is engulfed by the Avila Mountains to the north, the Macaro National Park to the west, and city-protected natural zones. From here, we begin to identify the spatial differentiation between the formal and informal settlements. The vast natural zones dominate this landscape and provide scenic views from the main roadway as well as within the neighborhoods. We also introduce our friends at Simon Bolivar University, our partners in this international studio, nestled within the dense forest of the Sartenejas valleys. To further analyze and understand this site, we will first look at the ecological conditions and challenges. Through understanding the unique topographies and natural systems, we identify unstable lands, the floodplains, and areas prone to landslide, which collectively define the areas of risk. This can be clearly seen in this photo of the fringes of the La Palomera barrio. The interwoven forests and grasslands create dramatic visuals and help to purify the air and clean the waterways that run throughout the site. Because of rapid urbanization, green spaces and creeks are at risk of contamination. Additionally, water shortages, pollution, and green fragmentation create more barriers. Equally as important to the green armatures is the understanding of the socioeconomic state. As a result of the national economic conditions and the original suburban plan of Baruta, the neighborhoods are largely disconnected. Social inequities with different levels of education, quality of life, and access to job centers and public spaces are so disparate. We also see transportation to be a socioeconomic challenge because roadways built for cars present dangers to pedestrians, especially considering the large majority of the main roadway is without sidewalks. Additionally, barrios are largely underserved by public transportation, which creates more inequities for residents to commute to work. While understanding the present and historical challenges in Baruta, we arrive at our design strategy that guides our approach. We organized a design process that prioritizes an enhanced and vibrant interconnected green network, localized economic development, and systems of social interconnectedness that center the needs of Baruta residents. Through first repairing the water streams that have been obstructed by informal settlements, we can begin to work towards improving water quality that impacts both people and wildlife. To address the steep terrains, we propose retaining walls to structure and stabilize with erosion control to prevent landslides and, most importantly, minimize risk. We estimate that 160 homes need to be relocated. We have selected areas that are relatively flat, not prone to flooding, and low in altitude that can serve as redevelopment sites, identified by the pink hatched areas, to ensure that families are treated with respect and given housing that exceeds their expectations. After prioritizing relocation zones, we plan to merge the existing natural corridors with eco-connectors through agroforestry techniques. Some of the land can become productive and turn into terrace farming, honoring the agricultural traditions of the indigenous. Riparian buffers can restore the polluted rivers and provide more habitats for wildlife. Given the sweeping panoramas and plateaus, we believe that there is potential to regenerate the local economy through tourism. Additionally, through investing in workforce development, residents can build upon existing skills and learn new skills that will create pathways to new jobs. To spatialize these ideas, we use pink areas to note job hubs, which are existing and proposed centers of economic exchange, such as markets to sell locally made handcrafts or fresh produce, educational and job training facilities, as well as potential sites for tourism. Lastly, weaving together both economic and environmental moves are the social spaces. These are centered on community. Through community centers and public spaces, we seek to begin to bridge the social divide between the formal and informal settlements. Public spaces here are proposed to enhance existing spaces and build new public spaces, especially in informal settlements. These networks of spaces will provide a place for recreation, socialization, and an escape to admire the natural beauty of this place. Our short-term goals are to better serve residents of steep barrios by providing electronic bikes, escalators, and vertical parking. In the long term, if sufficient funding is secured, we are proposing gondola lines that will traverse north to south across the municipality and connect the barrios with job centers. Through understanding the environmental, social, economic, and political climates, we propose our composite development map. We see this with the lenses of patches, corridors, and stewards, each working harmoniously together to speak to the needs of Baruta. And from another perspective that considers the topography, we can see our proposals within the current geographical context. Moving forward, we have chosen to further analyze the centrally located Node 3 because we saw this as the ideal site to deploy the informal armatures approach. The complexity of this node with the interfaces of the formal and informal neighborhoods, the rapidly changing topographies and tightly wrapped contours, and fragmented ecological patches makes this area particularly fascinating to analyze. The risk areas in pink inform the location of the subsites as well as the potential relocation housing. From here, we begin to identify the 3 subsites within the area, which compose of a community-centered gondola station, social housing, and a community park, all leveraging the specific topographies and natural features that define Baruta. We also plan to bring more publicly and barrio-accessible green space and public spaces to socially strengthen the neighborhood ties. These plans fit within the scheme of the general plan and were approached with our design manifesto in mind. To bring these plans together, a pedestrian-friendly trail system will meander the landscape and provide alternative views and routes to connect residents amongst this area.
Now we are going to introduce our subsite 1, the self-sustainable community. This area of barrio is suffering the most from erosion and flooding risks. It is located between the gondola station at north and the forest at south. Due to Caracas' current severe economic issues, underdeveloped infrastructures, and lack of governmental supports, we hope to create a frame that allows barrio residents to form a self-sustainable community. Many informal settlements are currently located in the area where the constructions are not supposed to be due to the flooding and landslide issues. This system can also be applied to those surrounding areas and even other informal settlements in the country. To achieve our goal, we developed these 4 strategies to respond to the existing economic and water crisis and landslide risks of our site. They are risk management, community vitalization, ecological restoration, and water infrastructure improvement. Each strategy will help to solve one existing issue. We relocate residents in risk zone and use bike trails and farmlands to control the community's edge. We propose a series of linked public space to enhance the connections between the community and the transportation system. To prevent water pollutions, we not only build riparian buffer along the creek, but also apply runoff treatment methods inside of the barrio. We also create the community water recycle and storage system to ensure water access even during the water crisis.
This is the relationship between economic development, job training, and urban construction, and how they could support each other to become the self-sustainable community. For example, the job training architect and mason could directly support the local urban construction.
The entire community will work as a stable water machine that help to support the residents even during the water crisis. We have 2 subsystems. The first one is the runoff treatment system, which includes the ground filters, stair filters, and detention ponds, as well as riparian buffers. The second one is the storage and recycle system, which includes the public water access water hub, the black water treatment systems, and gray water treatment systems.
The Dancing Square, Active Street, Amphitheater, and Terrace Farm are four main activity spaces that could apply to slopes and would serve as the main program in our design. So we are going to develop our plan in three phases, and they based on gradually remove and construct buildings for relocation housing and community services, water improvement in community and nature, agriculture development, which could both stabilize the slope and improve yield. And finally, we came up with the open space system with the community center between schools and terrace farm. Also, the bike trail supported the non-vehicle transportation system. In our plan for the water system, they are evenly spread the community and they are adjacent to open spaces which will benefit the residents. And for the ecosystem, we are going to connect the riparian buffer to nature mountain preserve to create green ecosystems. And for the open spaces, we also planned community services and recreation spaces near the gathering spaces.
In this section, we can see new developments are concentrated at the uphill where the relocation housings are, and the downhill where the community edge is. The edge of the community is defined by the bike trails and farmlands. This section also helps to explain how the water machine works. Before the runoff reaches the creek, it will experience different kinds of runoff filter systems. The zoom-in diagram also shows how the water storage, water treatment system, water hub, and the community restroom work together to build a backbone for the community's water usage.
So in our detailed plan, the amphitheater is surrounded by terraced square, sports center, transit square, and water hub. And we also have two types of planting strategies. So the activities and programs are arranged in terrain which would provide diverse scale and spatial experiences.
The pockets of public space will be framed by the buildings. There will be small terrace plaza for people to gather together to access the water and participate into other social activities.
By standing at the bike trail at the edge of the community, we can see the existing burial buildings has already transformed into a safe public green space. Thank you.
The next part is the subsite 2, community center. The location is extremely important as the subsite is positioned in the middle of this region, being next to the main vehicular road with heavy traffic, sandwiched by two barrios, Ojo de Agua and Pica Piedras. The site can potentially connect them. On the north of this site has many commercial buildings and factories. It could be future job hub. Due to the essential location, our goal is to make it a new community center to stitch up the fragmentation. We have three design strategies to realize this goal. First, rebuild the green network. Second, improve the social cohesion. Third is to activate the regional economic. And this shows how to rebuild the green networks. I will re-expose the local stream and build a riparian buffer that can become a stop along the green corridor. The site also applies erosion controls and water purification treatment methods. And this shows how to strengthen the social ties. Community center is right in the middle as the container of all public events. Pedestrian system will extend to all the barrios and future job centers, which bring about great convenience. And this is how to improve the economic. With the help of Simon Bolivar University and existing industries, we have opportunity to develop engineering and agroforestry here. Research center will be introduced as the technical support of the new industry. Technical school targeting the job training can build meaningful career ladders that support higher paying careers. We also apply phasing development. The short term is about setting up the public infrastructures and green system. The mid-term is focused on economic development. The long-term plan is to build a gondola station here. Let's see the transformation of the plan. From our outside perspective, the current physical conditions are not amenable to vibrant public space, parks, or centralized job centers. The main roadway supplies these communities and act as physical barriers. So the first step is to build out the public space system. To the left of the main road is a market plaza serving pickup address. On the right is a multifunctional park including a sport field, fiesta plaza, tourist park, and repair buffer. The pedestrian system, with the purple, extends to the community nearby and job center, serving as a stitch to connect a fragmented urban island. The second step shows how to develop the economy security. Based on the existing building, we propose to introduce a USB research centers, technical school and factories, and some community service building will also be built. The last phase is the gondola station. With secure funding, the gondola station will be built on the top of the service building. More people will be brought to the site from the highway and urban centers. Then, the journey is quite clear. We have three major parts: the community centers, automobile industry area, and agroforestry industry area. They interrelate with each other through green system, a pedestrian path. This slide shows the four elements in the plan: green space, public open space, water, and industry system. And the long section shows the gondolas serve as an environmental steward. The community park is in front of the gondola station and connect to the environmental system. The aerial view shows the dramatic elevation changes. On the top is the market plaza and the community park is on the lower level. This also shows how I treat the topography through retaining wall, escalator, and terrace. You can see from the west to the east, the circulation is quite fluent and continuous, which improves the consistency of public events. Let's jump to the first view. The first view is in the market plaza. It is quite dynamic and vibrant, bringing people together within the barrier. Under the canopy, people are able to sell or trade local products. The plaza provides a place to play during special fiesta. The first floor of the resident building is naturally transformed into commercial use with time. The second view is in the riparian buffer. The blue corridor provides people more green space and fresh purified water. People can get to the community center through the pedestrian path. The path also activates the first floor of the buildings. It becomes more open and lively. In one word, the community center will work as a catalyst to drive future development and help make Baruta even more colorful and lively. Thank you.
Then I'll introduce subsite 3, the relocation area. Subsite 3 is located on the west of the former mentioned gondola station. The site will be connected with the gondola station by existing roads and the proposed pedestrian system. To move people from risky zones, we identify the flat terrace of La Limonera's cutting track go-karts as a good spot for relocation. The parcel is near to Piazza Azul, Pica Piazzas, and La Limonera. The three communities are starkly divided for both geographic and social reasons. Although the parcel itself is pretty flat, it is surrounded by barren steep slope, which is exposing to landslide risk. The goal is to build an attractive community in an integrated system. In addition to Baruta's general issues, specific issues the site is facing with include how to build a community that will make people more willing to be relocated here, and how to deal with the relationship between the new community and its surroundings. To achieve the goal, 4 strategies are put forward. Strategy 1 is to cherish the ecological treasure. Agroforestry and diversion watercourses are applied to control erosion. Pedestrian trails and observation decks are built to offer people an opportunity to appreciate nature and promote tourism. The view corridor is to connect natural patches visually. Strategy 2 is to shape the public realm for all. We will build a community center, a job training center, an under-roof marketplace, sport fields, pocket parks, and other facilities for everyone in the area. Some public space will be venues for arts and social programming to nourish an inclusive culture. Strategy 3 is about retaining informal nature. In terms of housing options, people who own demolished houses will be relocated into half houses and have the property ownership. Tenants will be relocated into apartment. The middle typology will be specifically built along the view corridor to enhance scenery. In addition, it is available to have informal marketplace in open space or on housing's ground floor to cater passenger flows. Some open space will be undefined. A public building will be built near such open space as a steward to prevent occupation. Strategy 4 is to improve connectivity. The existing pedestrian and bus systems will be enhanced, and then inclined elevator will be built when there is a strong demand of moving people across steep slope. Then is a proposal. In short term, erosion control methods will be applied in landslide zones. Sightseeing trails and observation decks will be built, and new bus stops will be added to better serve residents on the hill. In medium term, the relocation housing and public facilities will be built, and the internal connectivity will be improved. The map shows the view corridor as green dashed line, which connect the forests on the north and south. The pedestrian system is drawn as orange dashed lines. It connects the area as a whole. The map demonstrates the location of housing typologies. It will be able to relocate 2,000 residents here. Around 300 households will own the property. This is the location of public buildings. The concentration of public facilities and the proposed trail will make the center open space a core of activities. Section C shows the scale of the center open space, formal and informal marketplace, and the residential buildings. In the long term, the gondola station will be built. Therefore, the inclined elevator will be installed on the cliff to improve the access to the gondola station in subsite 2. There will be an increase of population for the improved external connectivity, so we also identify potential locations for future infill. That's all of our presentation. Thank you for listening.